Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaded Path. For the last 2 weeks, we've worked on the Bling in the New Year set. So 2 weeks ago, we did the necklace. Last week, I showed you how to make earrings out of the component. And today, I'm going to show you how to make a ring out of the component. Two really great things about this ring. Number one, it's going to be great for people who thought the necklace was kind of over the top. You know, it's very, even though the component itself is very sparkly and shiny, it'll be good if you don't normally like to have a full, get up set, unlike some people that love it. The other thing is it uses very few beads, so it's a really great stash buster if you just have extra stash laying around your house. So, for this project today, you're going to need a 14mm Rivoli. You're going to need just a little amount of a size 11 seed bead. You're going to need 12 4mm Bicones and 6 4mm rounds. Now the fire polish rounds are going to go on the bottom of the ring, and that's so that the ring won't be scratchy on your finger. The only other thing I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using a little bit of Stretch Magic for the ring band, as well as about 23 to 27 3mm fire polish beads. Now you can also use Bicones for this, but again it gets a little scratchy actually on the finger, so that's why I used the rounds. Now there's a couple of things I want to throw at you real quick. Number one, on the components, although I'm using 1G thread, you can use 6, 8, or 10 pound fire line, as well as the 1G, the Hannah thread, the S-line, whatever you want to use, okay? I just don't suggest going up above the 10 pound, because if you do, you're going to have a hard time getting back through some of these seed beads. So even though in the very first video and last week I said, a 6 pound or, whatever I said, I can't remember at this point. But I just want you to know that you have lots of choices in your stringing material. So don't think just because I said, 1G thread or said 6 pound fire line or 8 pound fire line that you have to use that, okay? So again, you can use 6, 8, or 10 pound fire line, 1G thread, Hannah thread, or even S-line cord or Nymo. So that'll kind of give you an option there. The other thing, you can use either a size 10 or a size 12 needle. The size 10 I personally like for this project, and you can go through the bead several times with this size 10, so I really don't see the need to go smaller. But if you want to go smaller, again, it's completely up to you. And the third thing that I want to tell you is I use the Stretch Magic to make the ring band. And the reason I do that is so that if I make these to sell actually here in my store or online, I don't necessarily have to worry about making the ring a specific size, okay? It's kind of like a one size fits most when you use the stretchy material. Now you can do this, the ring band, actually the same, as an exact size using your fire line, your Nymo, or whatever you're going to use. Just be careful, because when you're using a string of material such as your fire line, over time it does stretch out a little bit. So when you make the ring, you make it say to fit this finger. I've had rings before that I started making early in my beading career where I made it to fit this finger, and I wore it so much by the time I basically had to redo it, I was putting it on this finger, okay? So it does stretch over time, especially if you wear it a lot. The great thing with using the stretchy material is that you can wear it, and if it stretches out, all you have to do is snip the stretchy cord and start, just redo your band again. You don't have to redo the whole thing. So that's one really, really great thing about that. So I'm going to start out with about 24 to 30 inches of thread, and again, it's whatever kind that you want to use, and we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I've done is I've gone ahead and made one component. Now you can go back to last week's video to see, or even the last 2 weeks worth of videos to see how to make this component. Okay, so this specific component that I'm going to do today uses a Crystal AB Rivoli, a 4mm rose bicone, and then a 4mm Crystal AB fire polish. Here is another ring that I've got actually completed. This uses the violet Rivoli with all the Crystal AB bicones and fire polish. And then here is another top that I've completed. I haven't got the bands put on it yet, but this is another top with the Crystal AB. So you can see just changing the bicone, what a big difference this creates in your ring base. And you change the seed bead color as well, and it changes it dramatically. So I've finished my component, and I've stitched to the back to where I'm coming out of any one of the fire polish beads here on the back. And the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to get me a few size 11 seed beads here and 2 of my 4mm rose bicones. And from where I'm coming out, I'm going to pick up 2 11s, a 4mm bicone, and 2 11s. And I'm going to go back through the fire polish bead that I'm coming out of so that it makes a circle. So my thread was originally coming out here to the left. So I'm going to go through this bead going from right to left so that it's going to make a loop here. And then I'm going to reinforce this several times and then stitch to the other side here to do the same thing, so that when I do that, I've got both on there and got it tied off. Then this is what the piece will look like. And this one, you can see here that I've used the fire polish rounds just to show you a little bit differently. So again, you can see I used a 4mm fire polish here and the 4mm bicone here. So it just gives you a difference. You know, if you don't necessarily want to put any more bicones in it, you can use the rounds. I'll show you this one. This one is one that's finished off actually with the bicone here rather than the fire polish. So it's completely up to you. I do believe in the written pattern I say to use a bicone, but you can use either. Now what I'm going to do once I have that completed is now I'm ready to actually start the ring base. So how I'm going to add that ring base is I'm going to be using some 0.5 stretch magic, and I'm going to stick that stretch magic through either my 4mm bicone or my 4mm fire polish bead. Now depending upon how many times you've went through the bead to reinforce, will be dependent upon how easy it is to get this thread through here. And oh my gosh, I can't see, it's too clear. There we go. Okay, so I have it through here, and now what I'm going to do, let me back the camera up here so you can see it a little better, is I'm going to take the 2 ends of my stretch magic and I'm going to put those ends together. And I'm going to hold those ends and pull that thread so that the component is centered directly in the middle of the thread. And this is where my 3mm fire polish beads are going to come into play. I'm on each thread that I have here, so on each side, I'm going to pick up 1 3mm fire polish beads. Now, if you have a hard time working with the stretch magic, you can use a big eye needle to do this with. I don't recommend it because you kind of kill your needle, but you can use a big eye needle, or you can take a Sharpie marker and you can color the end of this so that it's dark and you can see it a little bit better. Once I have 1 3mm on each side, then I'm going to thread on 1 3mm onto one side. Now what I do is I kind of take and wrap it around my finger, and then I'm going to take the other piece of my stretch cord and I'm going to go through it in the opposite direction so that when I pull that thread out, you can see that I have 1 thread on each side of that 3mm bead. And then I'm going to pull the thread so that it makes my first little loop down here for the ring band. And I'm going to do that again. So I'm just going to put 1 3mm onto each side. And then pick up 1 3mm on one side. Cross your threads opposite ways. and then pull this thread. And you want to continue adding your little circles, your little right angle weave circles of 3mm fire polish beads until you have the desired length for the ring band. Once you have the desired length of the ring band, then you're ready to actually attach it to the other side. And as you can see, I've ended with 1 3mm onto each thread. Now, I'm going to take the thread here on the right-hand side, and I'm going to go through the bicone here on the other side, where the opposite where my thread started the ring band. I'm going to pull that through, and then I'm going to take and tie these two threads together. Now, you want to be careful because you still have a little 3mm here that you've added, and you want to be careful that you don't get that 3mm caught up into the knot. I'm going to make another knot going through the loop twice and pulling that nice and tight. Now, you want to pull this tight because what's going to happen is you want it, if it's going to break, you want it to break right then. Okay? And that way it kind of tells you, hey, you got a crappy spot in the stretch cord, or hey, this is great to go, and you can just go on about your business. But I'm going to go ahead, now that I've got that done, and trim the tails here so that when you finish, now you have a really pretty ring that you can wear any time of day. And I wanted you to see, I did this, whoops. I think I showed you this a minute ago, but you can see how different it is just changing up your color of bicones. I also wanted to show you this ring here that I just finished has 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 22. This has 23 3mm on it, and this one comfortably makes a size 7 where it fits tightly around the ring band, but as you can see, to where it starts kind of getting tight, like really tight, it goes up to about a size 11, and as you can see, that kind of stretches the cord. So the best comfortable fit for 23 is between a 7 and like an 8.5. This one I did 25, I think. Let's see. Yeah, this one. Let's see. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 25, 26. I did 26 on this one. And that does about a size 9, okay, or up to comfortably about an 11 where it doesn't stretch. So if you need smaller than a size 7 to where it just kind of fits, just exactly fits, then if you need it smaller, you'll want to add probably about, if this one was 23, I'd say 21, or, lower. So it just kind of gives you a good idea of what size you can do on these, rings with the different bands. So there is the Bling in the New Year ring to go with your set. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make the Bling in the New Year ring. I do have the pattern available for this on my website at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, as well as 2 color kits. I have the solid crystal AB that I showed you in the video, and I also have the rose with the crystal AB Rivoli that I also showed you in the video. And guys, just remember, you are 1 stitch away from either a breakthrough or a breakdown. So never give up. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.